folks. My name is Kurt Hitzemann, County Court Judge here in Hernando County. You folks are here for your first appearance. The purpose of the first appearance is so that you may be informed of the charges against you. I'll determine if probable cause exists for those charges. Probable cause simply means that it's more likely than not that a crime has occurred, and more likely than not that you're the person who's committed that crime. Of course, as you stand before me this morning, I presume that you are innocent of these allegations. That presumption of innocence will stay with you through every stage of the proceedings, unless and until the state attorney's office is able to prove the allegations against you beyond and to the exclusion of a reasonable doubt. We'll set your conditions of pretrial release this morning, that is your bail or your bond. In most cases, you've had a bond set already pursuant to the bond schedule. Here in the 5th Judicial Circuit of the warrant which led to your arrest, I'll determine if those bonds should be raised or lowered or left the same, or whether there'll be additional conditions of pretrial release placed upon you. We'll let you know when your next court date will be. If you'd like to have the services of the public defender, I will gladly appoint the PD to represent you this morning. You do have a right to have contact with folks on the outside, family, friends, counsel. If you have not had a chance to make that call, please let me know. We'll make sure that that happens. Finally, and most importantly, you're advised that you do have an absolute right to remain silent with regard to the facts which surround your arrest. I encourage you to do that. These proceedings are recorded. In addition, there is an assistant state attorney in the courtroom with me. If you say something that tends to incriminate you, they will use it against you in the prosecution down the road. I now need each and every one of you there at the jail to please raise your right hands and be sworn. You all solemnly swear or affirm, tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Outstanding. When you hear your name called, please step forward to the podium. Christian Salazar Ruiz. Judge, the state and I have talked. Here will the document time, sir.
Su señoría, la Fiscalía y yo hemos hablado y ellos están dispuestos a ofrecerle crédito por tiempo cumplido ya encarcelado.
Okay. And that's great, except I was going to find that there wasn't any PC. This is one of those cases. Okay.
Bueno, eso es, está muy bien, pero yo iba a hallar que no había PC. Bueno, aún mejor.
Where they determined that Mr. Salazar's license was expired based on reading the tag on the car.
Que habían determinado que la licencia del señor Salazar había caducado basado en la tablilla en el carro.
There's nothing in the PC affidavit that says that they confirmed the identity of the driver prior to making the stop.
No hay nada en el affidavit PC que indica que lograron la identificación del conductor.
And that, of course, they have to do because the owner of a car is not necessarily the driver of the car.
Y eso lo tienen que hacer, claro, porque el conductor del carro no es necesariamente el dueño del carro.
So, Christian, what that means for you is that I'm going to release you today on your own recognizance.
Y, Cristian, entonces lo que eso significa para ti es que te voy a poner en libertad bajo palabra.
And I will not appoint a lawyer today because you may not need one.
Y no te voy a asignar un abogado hoy porque quizás no necesites uno.
You still need to come back to court on the 7th of December.
Todavía necesitas regresar a la corte el 7 de diciembre.
And I will tell you that if it is possible for you to renew your license before then, you should do that.
Y te digo que si te es posible renovar tu licencia antes de esa fecha, hazlo.
All right, so you'll be released today, Christian. Come back and see me on the 7th of December.
Así que te van a poner bajo libertad hoy, Cristian, y regresa a verme el 7 de diciembre.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Thanks, Juan Carlos.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Charvet Bennett. Morning, Miss Bennett. What's your date of birth?
2/17/91.
Ms. Bennett, the charge is child neglect. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. Do you plan on hiring private counsel? Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. State what can you tell me?
Your Honor, I'm not showing any history.
Okay. And Ms. Bennett, I have an address for you on St. Francis Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yeah.
And how long have you lived there?
It's been a few years now.
Okay. Do you have a job these days?
No, I just had a baby. I haven't went back to work yet.
Okay. What sort of work were you doing?
Resident aide care.
Okay. And I assume after yesterday, you have the folks from the Department of Children and Families involved in your life now. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'll set your bond at $500. My only condition of that bond will be that you cooperate fully with the folks at DCF, okay? So whatever they want to do, you do, and then they'll get out of your life sooner that way, okay?
Okay.
All right, and you'll be back in court on the 7th of December. I think your sister's here. Did you need to say anything, ma'am, or what? Don't yell at me. Come on, fool. Come on. I have to tell everyone, I grew up in the 70s listening to loud rock and roll music, so I can't hear you unless you get close.
So are you saying that her bond will be
It's
$500
$500
and then
instead of
10% of the $500?
Well, I'm not a bondsman, and I can tell you that I think most of them now will charge a minimum of $100.
Okay.
And when it gets to $500, they're not taking 10% anymore, but that should be it. And then she's ready to go now. If you want to go down to the jail or make arrangements with a bondsman, she's ready to go. It takes a little while to process them out, but I reduced it from $2,000 to $500, and then make sure she's back in court on the 7th of December.
Okay. Is there ways that you guys can make sure she has my new phone number? Because it changed 3 days ago. My dad said she wrote it down, but I never got a phone call.
Okay. Say it slowly so she can hear it and try to remember it.
All right. 352-457-4221.
457-4221.
Yes, and there's money on there already.
Okay.
All right. You'll be back in court on the 7th of December. Make sure you check in with the PD when you get out, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, miss. Christy Klein. Morning, Christy. What's your date of birth?
10/7/91.
Christy, the charge is a violation of a domestic violence injunction. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Oh, wait, and then
I'll point the PD. State.
Showing a drugs battery in 2015 out of Hernando County, a adjudication withheld in 2009 for false report battery 2009, adjudication withheld in Lucey County, and a battery in 2003 with no disposition, which I think was juvenile, Your Honor.
Right. And Christy, I have an address for you on Suncrest Drive in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
yeah,
How long have you been there?
3 years.
You have a job these days?
I'm supposed to start one this afternoon.
Okay. What sort of work are you starting this afternoon?
Deliveries.
Okay. Set your bond at $500. The only condition is that you abide by that injunction. I'll have you back in court on the 7th of December. If you get out, you should check in with the public defender, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Amanda Lawson. Morning, Amanda. What's your date of birth?
6882.
Amanda, you're here on a warrant that I signed. Apparently you failed to appear in my court on September 18th on a charge of driving on a suspended license. Mr. Larison, is this something she can resolve today?
Yes, Your Honor. The state has a probation offer of adjudication of guilt, 6 months probation, fines and court costs, cost of prosecution, and 60 hours community service to obtain a valid driver's license.
Any heartburn with the time served offer? She just got a bunch of financials.
Okay, Your Honor.
All right. Amanda, any interest in taking time served on this today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I give you a warning. If you do that, it'll be a second conviction for driving on suspended license, which means if you pick up a third one in the next 5 years, you lose your license for 5 years. But with that in mind, you still want to take this?
Yes, I have the money to go pay my license off.
Awesome. Then you understand by entering a plea today, you give up the right to have a trial by jury, the right to confront the witnesses against you, the right to remain silent, the right to have a lawyer represent you, but you want to give up those rights so we can take care of this today?
Yes, sir.
Case number 18-CT-2406, as to be charged with drug, knowing your license was suspended or revoked. How do you wish to plead? You can plead no contest.
No contest.
I'll accept that plea. Find that it's freely and voluntarily made. Adjudicate you guilty of the charge. Sentence you to 1 day in the county jail. Credit 1 day served. Finding court cost is $488. $50 for the day in jail. If that takes care of it, young lady, if there's nothing else keeping you in the jail, you will be released today, okay?
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Good luck. Annabelle Osorio. Morning, miss. What's your date of birth?
11/17/98.
The charge is battery, being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for the charge. As to that charge, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender? You want the public defender, Annabelle?
What does that mean?
Well, you have the right to have a lawyer represent you for this case. If you can afford to hire your own lawyer, you're free to do that. If you don't think you can afford to hire a lawyer, I can appoint one to represent you. That lawyer currently works in the public defender's office as an assistant public defender and is ready to represent you if you'd like him.
No.
Okay, you going to represent yourself?
No.
You're going to hire a lawyer? Okay. See, one of the answers has to be yes. There's three options. You have to say yes to one of them. It's represent yourself, yes or no. Hire a lawyer, yes or no. Or take the PD, yes or no. Two can be no. One has to be yes. Which one would you like to be yes?
Take the PD.
There you go. That's the right answer anyway. So I'll appoint the public defender, State.
It's not showing any history.
I figured. Okay. And young lady, I have an address for you on Swordfish Lane in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you lived there?
Less than a year.
Okay. And you live with Miss Nunez?
Yes.
And that's your mother, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And are you working or in school or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Annabelle, I'm going to set your bond at $50. Condition of that bond, however, and please listen carefully, is that you'll have no contact with Ms. Nunez. No contact means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her, you don't go where she lives, you don't go where she works, you don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting your mother, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and I find out about it, I will revoke your bond and you'll be held in the jail without bond until the case is resolved. It means no contact even if she wants the contact. So if you were to answer your phone and hear her voice, you should hang up. If you're out and about and see her, you should turn around and run the other way. You need to understand that your mom cannot drop the charges against you. That's not a decision she'll be allowed to make. She might go to the state attorney's office and ask them to drop the charges. She may tell them she's not interested in pursuing this matter, but that decision belongs solely to the assistant state attorney who will be handling your case. So unless that person, or the judge on your case, which will be me, tells you the charges are dropped, you should assume they are not dropped and you should not have contact. I also have to hold you at the jail today up until 4 o'clock so that if your mom wanted to serve you with a civil injunction for protection against domestic violence, we'd know where to find you. If you get the civil injunction, it's doubly important that you not have contact because in that case, not only could you get your bond revoked here, but you could get new charges for violating the injunction. Now, the hard part, as far as Swordfish Lane goes, as long as your mom lives there, you will have to stay someplace else until this case gets resolved. And I don't know if you have anywhere else to go, but you can't go there. You can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, whatever you need for wherever you plan to stay. But to accomplish that, you'll have to contact the sheriff's office first. Then they would meet you there with a deputy who'd stand by while you picked up your things and got going where you're going. I'm going to have you back in court on December 7th. It's very important that when you get out, you come to the courthouse and make contact with the public defender's office so they can get started on your case, okay? Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. Donald Farron. Morning, Donald. Date of birth?
1976.
All right. Donald, I have two warrants today, both signed by Judge Toner. Both of them are violation of probation warrants. So he found probable cause for those. And then I have a resist without violence. That's a new charge. There's probable cause for that. As to all these charges, would you like to represent yourself? You're going to hire a private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD. On the resisting, I'll set the bond at $1,000. That case will come back on December 7th. The bond on the two BOP warrants, of course, is no bond. On each of those, I've appointed the public defender, and I'll send you back to see Judge Toner also on the 7th of December. The public defender will come to the jail and see you about all your cases before you go to court, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Jericho.
Sir.
Morning, Jacob. What's your date of birth?
August 17th, 1990.
Jacob, the charge this morning is battery is a second or subsequent offense. There's probable cause for that charge. As to that charge, you wish to represent yourself. You're going to hire private counsel, or would you like me to appoint the public defender?
No, Your Honor, I was wanting to know if I could just plead out today and get it over with.
Unfortunately, Jacob, it's been charged two things. As a domestic battery, so it can't be pled at first appearance, and also as a felony, so it cannot be pled at first appearance. So you'll have to go to court on this one, all right?
Okay.
You want the PD?
Yeah.
Very good. I'll appoint the public defender. Let's see. State.
Your Honor, he has a...
Yeah, he has open misdemeanor, and I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I still want to know about his history.
Okay. Showing a probation violation on Hernando, an 18, a disposition guilty for a battery in 2016, a Willis adjudication guilty in 18.
Your Honor, do I have two batteries or one battery?
Just reading the history. Okay, Jacob, hang on.
A drop aggravated battery on a pregnant
Some of
person.
these things have been dropped, so he's telling me about contact with law enforcement. They're not all convictions, okay?
Dropped adjudicate bat on a pregnant person in 17, Willis AG at 17, a drop battery by detained person in 2016, a battery felony adjudication of guilt in 2016, felony battery adjudication of guilt in 2014, as well two counts of those, battery on a detention staff adjudication of guilt in 14, marijuana adjudication of guilt in 13, battery withhold of adjudication in 2011, resist without violence adjudication in 2011, as well as delinquent charges with violent nature.
And Jacob, I have an address for you on Malvern Street in Brooksville. Is that where you live these days?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where you, there's two counts. Two counts as second or subsequent. Were you living with Richard in Cheyenne?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been there?
My whole life.
Okay. You have a job these days?
I had a job. It's gone now.
Okay. Okay. Well, a couple of things are going to happen. First of all, in this case, I'll set the bond at $1,000 on each count. That's a total of $2,000. Condition of that bond is that you have no contact with Richard or Cheyenne. Were you listening when I explained what no contact means earlier?
Yes, sir.
All right. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. This case will be back in court, in circuit court, on the 7th of December. The other thing that's going on, obviously, Jacob, is you have open cases in front of me, or an open case in front of me, 18MM2232. Job number one, when you have an open case, is don't pick up a new one. Appears to me that you have. So pursuant to Florida Statute 903.0471, I'm going to hold you till next week on the 15th of November. That's when you'll be back in front of me on that case. And we'll probably get that case resolved then, or find a way to go with that.
Want to resolve it? You want to resolve it today?
I don't. Because I want to have, given the charges, I want to have the lawyer a chance to speak to you briefly before we do that. But my guess is we'll get it resolved next week. And then you'll be without bond until then, and then if we resolve your case next week and you can get out, then you can post bonds on these batteries.
I'm not going to postpone.
Okay.
I'm not going nowhere.
Okay. All right. PD will come see you about everything, Jacob, all right?
All right.
Thank you.
The phone's on your document, 15.
Yeah. Tony Lawson? Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
3/24/60.
Tony, you got 2 charges today. Aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and burglary of a conveyance with a battery. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself? You want to hire private counsel? Would you like the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll point the PD. State.
Showing disposition guilty for a battery in 2008, out of Hernando County, possession of controlled substance in 2012, disposition guilty, as well as a Willis, disposition guilty, as well as a flea elude, all in 2011, where there was 2 years state prison sentence. A Willis in 2011, disposition guilty. A grand theft in 2009, disposition guilty. False bank, attempt to solicit or conspire in Orlando in 2009, adjudication of guilt. Grand theft in 2008, adjudication of guilt. A possession of meth with intent to sell, 99, disposition
Good.
guilty.
You're good. You're good. Tony, you got an address for you on Cornflower Road in Brooksville. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long you been there?
One and only.
What's that?
Yes, sir. I live there.
Okay, how long?
All my life.
Okay.
Days.
You got a job these days?
No.
Okay. And Mr. Wheeler lives next door, is that right?
Who?
The guy you allegedly hit, he's a neighbor?
Not to me, eh?
Okay.
Can't do shit. He supposed. I want him on the premises.
Okay.
I ain't hit him.
Tony, stop. Tony, let's not talk about what happened, okay?
Okay, well, hey, I want him on the property.
Okay.
Yes, I want him on.
Okay. Tony, I'm going to set your bond at $10,000 on each count. That's a total of $20,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Mr. Wheeler, the gentleman you allegedly
Oh, I
hit.
want him on. Why they won't let me file a charge and get him on my property then? They just ignore me.
Okay.
Somebody come at me with a cane.
Okay, you don't ever get to hit somebody, Tony, so you'll have to talk to
He
your
had
lawyer
the cane.
about it.
He had the
$20,000, no contact
He
with
had
the
the
victim.
cane.
I'll have you back on the 7th of December. Have a seat, sir.
Well,
Have a seat.
okay.
Have a seat.
Yeah, you too. Have a nice day.
I lost the court date somewhere there.
The
Judge.
7th. Mark Piddlecow. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
1965.
Sir, I have 2 charges this morning. You've got a battery being domestic in nature and a resisting without violence. There's probable cause for those 2 charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Public defender, please.
I'll point the PD. State.
Fraud, swindle, disposition guilty in 2008 out of Citrus County. That's for Florida history. Illinois history consists of a 91 possession of cannabis out of Illinois and a possession of drug paraphernalia in 98 adjudication of guilt.
All right. And Mark, I have an address for you on Freeport Drive in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
3 years.
And does Rosemarie live there as well?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
Sheet metal mechanic.
Okay. All right. I'm going to set your bond at $1,000 on each count. That's a total of $2,000. Condition of the bond is that you have no contact with Rosemarie. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Also have to hold you up until 4 p.m., Mark, so that if she wants to serve you with a civil injunction, we know where to find you. As far as Freeport goes, you can go by one time to collect your clothes, your toothbrush, your tools, anything that's there that you need. But you've got to contact the sheriff's office first. They'll meet you there with a deputy. Then I'll have you back in court on the 7th of December. Very important that you contact the public defender's office when you get out, all right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Chase Rowland. Want to Chase what you date of birth?
3/20/86.
Chase, I have a warrant for you out of Pasco County. Apparently a judge down there thinks that you failed to appear on a misdemeanor charge of battery and issued this failed to appear warrant. The bond on the warrant is $1,013. I can't change that. If you can post that bond, you can take yourself down to Newport Richie, find out when they want you in court. If you're unable to post that bond, Chase, I'll give Pasco 5 days to come get you. It doesn't take 5 days with Pasco, but if for some strange reason you're still here 5 days from now, they'll bring you back to see me, and I'll find out what the holdup is, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Jacob Yarborough. Morning, Jacob. What's your date of birth?
August 14th, 1997.
All right. Jacob, we got 3 charges today. Got a possession of marijuana, possession of hashish, and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause for those charges. As for those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like me to appoint the public defender?
Public defender.
I'll appoint the PD, State.
No history, Your Honor.
And Jacob, I have an address for you on Stillwater Avenue in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Yes, sir.
How long have you lived there?
About a year and a half.
Do you have a job these days?
Yes.
What do you do?
Taco Bell.
Okay. I'll set your bond at $500 on each count. That's a total of $1,500. I'll have you back in court on the 7th of December. Make sure you check in with the PD's office when you get out, all right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. James Venata. Morning, sir. What's your date of birth?
5/7/76.
James, I have 2 charges today. I've got a criminal mischief and a stalking being domestic in nature. There's probable cause for those charges. As to those charges, you want to represent yourself. You want to hire private counsel. Would you like the public defender?
Private counsel.
Very good. State, can you tell me?
No history, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
Yes?
Mr. Zanata bonded on the criminal mischief.
Okay. He's already posted the 1,000. Good enough.
2,000.
2,000. I can't. Okay. Oh, it's because it's felony. Yep. Okay. All right. And sir, I have an address for you on Canongate Court in Spring Hill. Is that where you live?
Correct.
How long have you lived there?
8 years, approximately.
Okay. And do you have a job these days?
I do.
What do you do?
I'm a building contractor.
Okay. All right. So, sir, I'm going to set the bond on the stalking at $1,000. You've already posted the $2,000 bond on the criminal mischief. Condition of the bond on the stalking is that you have no contact with Susan. Did you hear me explain no contact earlier?
Can you just clarify, please, again?
Sure. It means no contact of any kind. You don't call, you don't write, you don't email, you don't text message, you don't contact her through any social media. You don't have a third person contact her. You don't go where she lives. You don't go where she works. You don't have any contact of any kind. Any way that you might imagine contacting her, I forbid you to do that. If you have contact and I find out about it, it means your bonds will be revoked and you'll be held without bond. It appears that you all may have children in common. It may be very difficult for you to arrange seeing your kids while this charge is pending because it generally involves at least third-party contact. I'm not telling you you can't do it. I'm just telling you that any contact in any way, shape, or form that you have with her while these charges are pending could wind up with you in jail without bond. Is that clear?
That is clear. One question.
Sure.
Communications through cell phones, usually my daughters text either if they're with me or with her, each other. Is there a way to clarify when they text
Here's
her?
the answer to all that. The answer is the onus is on you. If it appears to me, and this would be a low burden, it would be just a probable cause sort of a burden. If they present something to me, and it appears to me that you attempted to have contact with her, you will be in jail without bond. So you need to do whatever you need to do, make whatever changes in your life that you need to make so that it would never appear that way to me. Okay? I get that it's going to be difficult, and that's why I'm taking time with you, because it's going to be a problem until we get this resolved. So you need to know that you need to treat it very carefully because the law requires me to pull the trigger quickly. So if I think there's contact going on, even if I'm wrong, you're going to be in jail without bond. Okay?
So let's hope you're not wrong then.
All right. So I also have to hold you up until 4 o'clock, so if she wants to serve you with an injunction, we know where to find you. You'll be back in court on the 7th of December. Very important when you speak to your lawyer that you tell him about that date, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.